So what we have here is an Oxford Aqua T50 dry bag. This one's in black grey. You can get them in other colours. I think one was like a vivid yellow, and you can get all black. But if you go online, you'll find the different options. I bought it as a bit of a stopgap, really, because I've ordered a bag from a Polish company, which is a horseshoe shape, and it's built to specification for long distance travelling. So that bag will take about 6 weeks to get to me. So I'll, when it comes, I'll have a look at it and do a review on that bag. But this was a stopgap because I wanted to go camping. As you can maybe see, it's literally just come off the bike. I've had 6 days travelling down through Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, and then all the way back up to Yorkshire, through Lincolnshire to Yorkshire, and then back across to Lancashire, where I live. And the weather's been okay. It's been good. It's not, it's been a little bit mix of warm and odd showers for the week. Not too bad. But today, it really came on heavy. And I had my summer riding gear on, and I couldn't be bothered to change. I couldn't be bothered to put waterproof stuff on, and I got soaked, absolutely soaked. But this bag still got water on it, so it's as it was packed this morning. So I'm going to open it and see how we got on. You're supposed to fold the this part over 3 times. I only managed to do it twice because I didn't really pack it very well this morning because it was a little bit damp and threatening rain, so I just threw everything in. So 50-litre bag. Other than the tank bag with my little bits and pieces that I wouldn't want to lose, this has everything in for the week for camping. So I'm going to get it all out now. You'll have to excuse my used clothes. They're a little bit stuffed in here, there and everywhere, but they'll just go straight in a washing machine. But at least you can have a look and see, what the bag entails and what it'll carry. So it's quite a nice looking bag. I say Aqua T50. You might notice it has a zip on the outside here. I haven't used that. I don't suppose that's totally waterproof, but it's got a water resistant zip on, so you probably put stuff in there, but not much. It's also, which is quite nice, it's got on the sides, it's got reflective parts on the side, and they do really shine out at night, as I found out when I was going back to my tent last night and putting the torch on it. So remember this, when I packed it to go, it was a lot more compact. I've just thrown everything in this morning, but that's the real world of camping and motorcycling. It's just the real world. So as you can see, the bag is still wet. I've literally just taken it off the bike. I went and had a shower first because I was so wet and so horrible. But I'm just going to give it a little dry on the outside because otherwise I'll get shit up again. I'm going to empty it first so you get an idea, and then I'll just show you what the features are and how you attach it. So let's just unroll. As I say, they do recommend 3 rolls of this, but because I hadn't packed it very well, I only did it 1.5, I think. So it has a wide opening, so everything can be crammed in. Like this morning when it was really wet, it had been wet and it was drizzling, and then it came on again. I just stuffed everything in, and that's the beauty of this type of bag. You can just stuff stuff in. Some of the camping gear I've been testing as to whether I'm going to use it for longer distance travelling. And I'm still thinking about this, but I've cut down massively on what I'm used to taking on a different bike. But I think I'm going to cut this down even further. So you've got to think this is 50-litre. I'm going to cut that down much more. With my gear in, which includes the tent, this weighs in at just under 12 kilogram. So that's pretty light, really. Anyway, I'm just going to get stuff out. that's just a lamp which is solar powered, so you can stick it outside through the day or put it on underneath straps on the back of your bike, and that'll recharge itself. And it's I might as well show you actually. It's called a Luminaid, and what you do is you just literally just blow it up, and it goes up to that, which you can have 3 or 4 settings, and then when you're finished it just squeezes down. Flat packs. Anyway, I might do a review on that some stage properly. Rubbish. Camping chair. So that's my camping chair. It's a Helinox one. I had it a few years now. Excellent. Not so sure I'm going to take it again though, although it's a bit of a debatable one, that, because I did use it 2 or 3 times in the week, which did make life a little bit more comfortable. But if I'm going to be travelling and moving day by day, I'm not 100% sure whether I'll need that. Reasonably bulky. That's just a bag of sort of kitchen stuff, and it's just got the usual stuff in, like your cutlery and your stuff to clean, wash and scrub, and that's another neat little thing that I've got. It's a flat pack water carrier, so when you get to your campsite, that's how it's packed. Fill it up and it expands out, and the base expands out as well, so it will actually sit. And then you've got a little ring thing here to hold it as you swing it as you're going through the campsite, and a really good stopper. That's definitely going to be going with me. The other thing in there I've got is an MSR pocket rocket, and I used it, but I didn't use it that much actually. And that's just one of those little sort of twig burning stoves. Didn't use it, but I think for the size of it, I think it would be quite handy just in case on other travels. So that's all sort of bits and pieces. And my thinking at the moment is I'm going to bin that. I'm not going to take that. I'll just take a spork and sort out on the route. It's just a little dry bag. It's one of those inflators that you you gather air into it, attach it to your air bed. It's an X-bed one, and then you just open it, close it, screw it up, and it pumps air in. Just saves getting short of breath. And normally, and when I travelled out, I did have my sleeping bag and sleep mat in that bag, so it acts as a little dry bag as well. So, the tent, it's a 2-man MSR Elixir, so it's a Elixir 2. Excellent tent. I haven't done a review on that, and I didn't bother while I was away, but I will do at some stage. Got packed away a little bit wet, so I'm going to have to just dry that out. But that goes in there. Your typical sort of travel towel. I've had this, it's called Tatonka. It was a German brand, which I don't know, I think they're still in production, but I don't think they operate in the UK. I've had it for, I don't know. Oh, I've had it, 20 years. I've had it 20 years and I use it for my camping. That's all I use it for. But when I look at it, I'm just thinking, I might not take it. I might just put toothbrush, toothpaste and a couple of other bits and pieces in. So that might not go. Well, I'm going to be taking clothes out, and I'm just going to dump them because, as I say, I just threw everything in. But you get the idea. It's a pretty good pack. What I carried clothes-wise, just so you have an idea, is I put, and this was on advice I'd seen on YouTube actually, I put 3 sets, this is for the 6 days, but it would be the same for 2 or 3 months. 3 pairs of underpants, 3 socks, which two of them was motorcycle socks. 3 technical t-shirts, so you know, your ones that'll easily wash dry out. I put an extra technical shirt in, which was one I got in New Zealand, so it was nice, just a bit more dressy sort of thing. So that was like a dressy type t-shirt. The others are just technical ones. Pair of shorts, the running shorts, so they're like, you can swim in them as well, so, and they don't take any space up at all. Pair of long trousers, the ones that you can zip off the bottoms to make into shorts. I think they just sound quite practical, so you've got an extra pair of shorts. Yeah, I'm just going to dump all this out. And I took one long-sleeved layered technical top, so all the others were short-sleeved, one long-sleeved, and I've used everything. Apart from, I took a, it's like a, it's here somewhere. Yeah, it's that. It's a Mac in a Sack polar jacket. So I've used that camping before when it was cold, and it's fantastic. Didn't use it this time, but to be honest, I think if I was going anywhere, because it'll compress down to nothing, I would take it. That dry bag just had all my clothes in, so it's just whatever else is in there. So apart from what I've said, I also took a, and again, it's just a, because I do some walking, so I took a walking fleece, but it wasn't fleece, it's that microfiber type stuff, so it compresses down to nothing. So I had a long sleeve shirt, technical shirt, walking shirt, and a long sleeved, like fleece, but not fleece. That sounds really rubbish, doesn't it? But you get the idea. Oh, I always carry, can't find these now, I don't know where to get them from. Always carry one of those toilet rolls that's rolled up just in case. Haven't used that. I haven't needed to use one probably for a couple of years, but it's just a good backup, and I would take that with me. For all the gentlemen out there, a pee bottle. So if you get to a certain age and you start to have prostrate type problems, you end up sometimes going, especially if you have a beer or two at night, you end up wanting to go to the loo 3 or 4 times a night. Well, if it's wet or cold, I ain't going out of my tent. So I take one of those, use it, and then disinfect it before it goes back in the bag. And with this COVID-19, I'm now using one of the sprays that you have, you know, to rub the hand to clean it as well. But it's bulky. So I had 2 options, and this is going to sound really gross. 2 options. One, when it's clean, put all my toothbrush, toothpaste inside to carry everything in there rather than a bag. Or I just get rid of it and figure out something else. I took a pair of flip-flops, obviously for campsites. They're not in here, they just were strapped to the back of the bike because they were wet. I usually, in the past, I always take walking shoes, you know, just a shoe form of walking shoes. And but I found with this bag, they were a bit bulky. So this time I just took some of these, which are just like cheap, I don't know even what you'd call them, but they're just cheap shoes. And they've done all right, I've used them, so that's fine. So you can see, albeit the bag itself, it's quite a compact bag. All this gear is coming out in real world. This is like today, and I didn't, you know, if I'd had more time or it wasn't as wet, I'd have packed it more carefully, and it would have been more compressed, the bag, so it would have been lower down slightly. But the real world is that when it's wet, you have to throw stuff in, cram it in so you can get off on your bike. That is my cook set. Now, over the years, I've been using a jet boil, which is so good, but I wanted something a bit more lighter and compact, and I bought this Stanley. The Americans use these a lot. and anybody from America would be able to tell me, but it's a little pot that obviously goes on the stove. That's in the pocket rocket in there, so you can boil your water, cook your food, and then you can use that as a cup or to eat out of. It has a drainer on the top, quite useful, and it fits the gas bottle and one of those folding cups which everybody's seen. And I'm not so sure. When I weighed it before I went away, it was the same weight as a jet boil. So I just really don't know what to do about that. I'm tempted to buy a little titanium one and go ultra light with it and smaller, even for a longer trip. Because what I've experimented with this time is that I haven't been bothering to have coffee in the morning, which I normally do. You know, brew my own coffee. I just get up, get packed early, get off and stop at a cafe, just a roadside cafe or wherever, and have a coffee and something to eat, or just a coffee. And that's saving a massive amount of time. Because by the time you brew up and then clean up and all the rest of it, I know you could be brewing while you're packing, but you still got to clean it and then pack it. Whereas I've been packing within about from getting up, from having a bit of a wash and brush of teeth. As soon as I'm ready to pack, 30 minutes I can be on the road. Now I reckon I can actually bring that down a little bit. So I reckon I probably get down to about 20 minutes. Because the less you have in your tent to pack, the quicker you're going to pack. That was just a folding bowl. Never used it. So I'm not so sure. Took tea towel. Never used it. And that's probably because I've not been cooking so much at the camp. Just a lightweight sleeping bag, which compresses down even further. I've got a winter one, but it would be far too warm for this time of year. And it was only a cheap one, but you know what? It's not a mummy bag. It's a rectangular bag, and it just does the job all right. There was only one night this week where it got a bit cool, and I just put on a t-shirt and some socks, and it wasn't that cold. It got a bit cool through the night. Yeah, and finally, the last thing, that's my sleep pack, effectively, with the sleeping bag there. So that's everything. That's the mattress, the pillow, a cotton pillowcase, because I just like the comfort of... You don't need it, but I like the comfort of a cotton pillowcase. And it's they're both Trekology. This one, it's a Luft UL80, and it's got slight rises at either side, and it's very good apparently, and it is, because I've used it all week, for people that toss and turn, sleep on the side. I bought another mat from them which was smaller, but it was only really good for sleeping on your back. This is perfect. I should do a review on this because it is brilliant. I slept well with this, didn't roll off the mat, and found that the slight upturned edges, only slight upturned, kept me in place regardless of what the ground was like. Brilliant. So that would be going everywhere. And that's it. That's all my stuff out now. As I say, the tank bag only had in things like charging cables, little power unit. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, just one of the tops that didn't go in here was in there. Long sleeved one, just in case it got a bit cooler while out, and other bits of personal stuff, you know, things you wouldn't want to lose. And that's it. That's the lot. And I'm thinking of cutting that down, but it just shows you, you know, that. And if you really wanted to carry more stuff, you could have this bag with another bag on top, because they're easy to strap things on top of bags. Or if your bike's bigger than mine, because it's only a 500 twin. If your bike's bigger, then you could probably have two of these, because they do different sizes as well. So I think they do a 70 litre, too big for me, for my bike, but a bigger bike, 70 litre would be fine. And I think they do a 40 litre one, and I think a 30, but you'll have to look it up yourself. But, so you get different sizes. That's the 50 litre one. And what you get with the bag is the actual bag itself. And you get 4 straps, and these are tie down straps which you tie down to somewhere on your bike. I tied them down to my footrest brackets, and that worked well for me. But what I did, I also put 2 bungee cords on the top as a fail-safe, just in case. And I always have netting on top of that, because then you can stuff things in there if you want them to dry while you're travelling. If I was going to another campsite tonight, I would have put my tent outer, I forget the words now, this comes with age, but I would have put the wet bit of my tent underneath there to dry out. I've had a towel drying on there while I've been travelling. You know the score. So different size bags. Couldn't recommend them highly enough. I paid £45 for this one. So that gives you a measure of maybe where you should be paying, somewhere between sort of, I guess, 42, 47. Really good bag. Oh, and the thing is, as I mentioned right at the beginning, I hadn't, on the journey back today, I hadn't rolled it up properly because I couldn't, because I'd stuffed things in, I hadn't put them in properly. So on the journey back, it was only rolled over once rather than 3 times, and I don't need to show you, but I can assure you it's bone dry inside, even with a 1 turnover. So you've got the 4 straps. You get that bit of plastic which sits at the bottom to give it some rigidity. If you have a look, because of the size of my bike, it's taken the shape of the seat and the overhang. That's fine, because the bags slightly overhang, and they just, when you pull them down, you tighten them up. That's the shape it's going to go. And you also get a carry strap to go over your shoulder. Useful. I use that. And really what you do, I'm just going to close it up for you now. What you do is you just get it, push the air out, roll it down, have another go pushing air out, and do it a 3rd time. That's in theory, if you can do that. And I have done when I first set off. And then you attach those buckles at the side, and then you've got tension straps like that, and you finally have not them you have more straps at the top here so it's fastened down in 4 places on the top, which is very effective. As I say, even with just 1 rollover, bone dry, and it was absolutely sheeting it down. It was so bad I could barely see, through the visor. It was awful. And that stayed completely, utterly bone dry. So if that's what you're looking for, I can very recommend it.